Hello YouTube, Freddie Cardona here. Welcome back to another episode of Driving and the News. Today is February 7th, 2023. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, this particular series is meant to record history for posterity. This way, if someone in 2030 or 2040 or 2050 goes back to this channel and checks out these videos, they will know what was going on any given random day in the New York Metropolitan area. And the way we do this is we have you commute with me on my way to work. And I listen to 1010 Wins on my way to work, and I've been listening for years. And I just started recording and documenting it in September of 2022. And the reason this is an interesting story, not because of me, but I just found another story a few days ago about someone named Marion Stokes. And what this woman did, and I did not know this until a few days ago, but it kind of validates what I'm doing here. She started in 1979 recording television with VHS tapes, specifically the news. And she continued 24 hours a day until 2012, I believe it is, when she passed away. Over 7,000 VHS tapes she used for these. The Internet Archive, I believe, is attempting to digitize every single footage that she recorded. So remember, you have the Iran kidnapping thing, the Iran hostages, everything from the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, everything is documented, and you'll be able to access that on the Internet Archives. And her name is Marion Stokes, and there's a documentary on her, and it's called, if you want to Google this, it's called Recorder, the Marion Stokes Project, and that's spelled M-A-R-I-O-N, Stokes, S-T-O-K-E-S. So they did a little documentary on her. So I thought that was interesting. Over 40 decades, if you consider 79, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010. Well, 50 decades if you consider the 1979 year. But over 40 decades at least of recording media. And in those recordings, obviously, you get the news, right? I mean, not the news, but commercials. So all of those vintage commercials are also in that footage. All right, enough talking. Let's get you the news.
We've got an accident right around 39th Street on the inbound Gowanus. We're jammed from the Belt Parkway. We're jammed from the Gowanus from back at the very busy Verrazano Bridge up into 39th Street. That's why things are lighter now from the Prospect into the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, because everybody is stuck back at 39th Street. You're going to be heavy up into Atlantic Avenue and tied up into the Brooklyn Bridge. Westbound, we may have an accident at Metropolitan Avenue, and we've got delays to go back to Queens Boulevard in that direction. 30 at the Hudson River crossings. Our next report, 7:51. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A suspect arrested in Rockland County in the shooting of an off-duty police officer during what cops say was a bogus car sale in Brooklyn.
Sources tell 1010 Wins the 38-year-old suspect tracked to a Nanuet hotel last night, now awaiting charges here at the 75th Precinct Station House. Police believe he is the man responsible for shooting an off-duty police officer Saturday in a botched robbery. The officer still critical at Brookdale Hospital. Mayor Adams yesterday speaking about his condition on MSNBC's Morning Joe.
We are lifting the family up in prayers, and right now the family is deciding their decisions and is still in the care of the medical professionals.
The officer coming with his brother-in-law to buy a car they found on Facebook Marketplace when the shooting started on Ruby Street near Linden Boulevard Saturday. Police now investigating whether this is related to a larger robbery pattern. Samantha Liebman, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in East New York.
Trevor Bickford went before a judge yesterday. It was the first court appearance for the 19-year-old who is accused of going after cops in Times Square with a machete on New Year's Eve. He's facing both federal terrorism and state charges and faces up to 80 years in prison if convicted. Shake up at the FDNY. Two top officials surrendered their titles in protest. after Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh demoted 3 fire chiefs. This reportedly happened after a meeting in which she berated top staffers for being more concerned about personal perks like getting department vehicles than things like the spike in fire deaths in the Bronx. When asked about it, Mayor Adams said the commissioner has his full support. More than 5,000 people now confirmed killed in Turkey and Syria from yesterday's 7.8 magnitude earthquake.
The bitter cold and snow are making rescue efforts even more grueling. Tens of thousands of wounded crowd into hospitals. Children shake from both the freezing temperatures and the trauma as the death toll balloons. Around the epicenter, little has been spared. Gaziantep's historic castle, which stood for more than 2 millennia, now in ruins. The president of Turkey is calling it his country's worst disaster in more than 80 years.
That's Chris Livesay in Istanbul. The United States pledging support to Turkey, including sending search and rescue teams, several of which are already en route.
President Biden says he's deeply saddened by the loss of life and devastation. Secretary of State Antony Blinken issued a statement saying he's directed his team to remain in close contact with our Turkish allies and humanitarian partners in the coming days to determine what the region needs. Initial U.S. assistance, he says, is already underway.
That's correspondent Cammie McCormick. President Biden delivers his State of the Union speech tonight.
The address to a joint session of Congress offers the president a chance to reflect on his accomplishments at the halfway mark of his term. Mr. Biden is expected to tout the nation's economic health, which due to high inflation is more apparent in unemployment data than in polling. As he stands before a divided Congress, the president will urge support for his unity agenda, ideas such as the cancer moonshot. He'll also try to convince lawmakers to continue providing support for Ukraine as the Russian war hits the 1-year mark.
At Stephen Portnoy, the president's speech is tonight at 9. You will hear it live on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. Well, each member of Congress gets to bring a guest to the speech. The invite from George Santos went out to a 9/11 first responder.
Michael Weinstock first crossed paths with George Santos when they were both running for Congress in 2020. Weinstock a Democrat and Santos a Republican. Santos reached out, Weinstock says, following a personal attack by an opponent.
George Santos sent me a message, I think, on Instagram saying, "I'm sorry you're going through this."
From there, the two kept in touch, culminating with an invitation from Santos to Weinstock to attend the State of the Union.
So I said, this is something that should rise above politics, and I accepted his offer.
Weinstock is hoping to draw attention to his neurological condition that he says came from his time as a firefighter at Ground Zero.
I'm told that there are thousands of firefighters who have this condition. It has yet to be approved by the 9/11 fund.
Weinstock says his status as a proud Democrat should be enough evidence that this isn't about giving Santos a lifeline.
Perhaps God is giving me a little tap on the shoulder and saying this is the right moment here.
Steve Burns, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Concerned citizens for New York 03 heading to D.C. today to rally outside the Capitol to call for Santos to resign. Jody Katz-Finkel heads the group.
And we're expecting members of Congress to join us. Definitely Democrat. We're hoping that some Republicans will join us as well.
Santos is the subject of several investigations over his alleged lies while on the campaign trail. Nassau legislator Josh Lafazan says because of that, he should have his security clearance revoked.
It's unprecedented for a member of Congress to be under inquiries at the local, state, federal, and international level. So this is an unprecedented situation, which means, in my opinion, it requires unprecedented action.
He says his Congress will be coordinating with intelligence officials in response to the Chinese spy balloon. He doesn't think Santos should be privy to information impacting Homeland Security. The Adams administration reporting to the City Council on the policy of taking mentally ill homeless people off the street without their permission.
42 people were removed in December under the mayor's mental health directive. 88% of police officers have received training, according to Chief Juanita Holmes.
We had a roll call training. Naturally, the primary goal, voluntary compliance.
Dr. Omar Fatal says the city hospital system is dedicating more resources.
We have about 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000 beds that are open right now, and we have plans to reopen up to 200 beds by the end of 2023.
Some council council members wondered whether the directive was too vague and whether follow-up care would be a revolving door. Juliet Papa, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
A new plan out of Albany to keep more potentially dangerous people off mass transit down here.
Now, only those facing sexual misconduct charges are banned across the MTA system. Governor Kathy Hochul's proposal this upcoming budget would expand the ban to those convicted of assault. Danny Pearlstein with Riders Alliance thinks emptier subway platforms and bus stops would make for a safer MTA.
The focus should be on shorter waits, faster trips to bring more people into public transit. That's the number one way to make it safer.
NYPD stats show a nearly 30% jump in crimes across the transit system at the end of 2022 from the year before. But Hochul's office cites a 16% decrease in subway crime last week from that time in 2022. She credits the cops, cameras, and CARES initiative for that. Christy Kalishian, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Someone in Washington State is waking up wealthy this morning. There was one winning ticket there for the $750 million Powerball drawing, but there was a $1 million ticket sold here in New York, so we've got the numbers for you. Grab a pen. I'm giving you a couple seconds. Okay, got it? 5, 11, 22, 23, 69. The Powerball number was 7. And good luck. 30 degrees with a real feel of 25. We're heading up to 41. Traffic and your 4-day forecast next.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loaned by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This week, Staples has deals so good, you're going to want to sit down. Are you sitting? I'll wait. Great. Right now during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are more than 50% off. Like the leather Vortex gaming chair, now just $119.99 at Staples. You save $140. Plus, an 80 count of Lysol disinfecting wipes is only $1.99. So take a seat or two. Right now at Staples, the working, learning, and saving store. Offers end to 11.
All right, we're getting into the glary season now.
Wednesday's time, 7:51. Traffic and transit on the ones. Here's Karen Stewart.
Well, the Bronx River Parkway is cleared of that accident at Gun Hill Road, thankfully. Delays went up to Cross County, and they're still up there. Slow traffic, not jammed anymore. Eastbound Cross Bronx Expressway at White Plains Road, we've got it disabled in the center. That thing has been here forever. The delays do bleed back into New Jersey. We've got an inbound George Way to 30, 35 at the Lincoln, and 30 inbound over the Holland Tunnel. The Van Wyck is a mess southbound from Queens Boulevard to the Belt. At the Belt, we've got an accident, and we've got 2 lanes shut down. Over at the New Jersey, northbound Route 18 at Edgeboro Road in East Brunswick, disabled tractor trailer. And keep in mind, Kennedy Boulevard is closed both ways between St. Paul's and Route 139 until further notice following the collapse of a retaining wall, and the ramp from Kennedy Boulevard to 109, by the way, that's also closed too. LIE eastbound at Route 111, we got a brush fire. We got the right lane blocked there. LIRR is good. Alternate side parking rules and regulations are in effect. Our next report is 8:01. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on my morning commute here for February 7th, 2023. And we'll see you on the next Driving and the News.